Why are most people living a life of average, of mediocrity, of just pathetic, boring lives? I'm going to tell you, it's because they compromise. They continuously compromise on their goals and dreams. You begin to compromise the goals and dreams that you have. You begin to negotiate them away. And I often wonder to myself why you would do this. You only get one run at life, you know. There is no second run. There is no trial run. If you think this is a trial run, my second time around, I'm really going to go all in. You're not. You're not. This is it. And so if you are here and you've got goals and dreams, why would you ever compromise? We are taken apart slowly, convinced to take an easier path, enticed by comfort. Most of us aren't defeated in one decisive battle. We are defeated one tiny, seemingly insignificant surrender at a time, chips away at who we should really be. Woo! Good morning, dreamers. How are we feeling? What's the energy like coming into the beginning of the week? 11-11. Paint your vision. So grateful to be on here with everybody. Lady Boss Nikki in the building. Shane and Talina. Cedric, let's go. Jojo tapped in. I love to see it. So amazing. How was the weekend? Hope you guys had a fantastic time getting out in nature, soaking up some time with family, getting into the gym, recharge, grounding. Let's go. All good. No worries. I see you making moves, JoJo. Love it. So as you guys can see, today's topic, we're going to be diving in to a great one. Today, we're going to be getting back into state 3 keys. You know, this is something that Tony Robbins talked about. This is something that our mentor Sean brings about. But this is huge because at any time, anywhere, these are 3 keys that all of us can really go ahead and be able to use and maximize and really go ahead and get back into state. So before we get started, this is going to be a great one because I got a little twist on it as well. There's going to be a lot of value coming in. But what is everybody grateful for coming in today? Let me know. Drop it down below and let's get this party rocking and rolling. Here we go. How to get back in state. 3 keys. Let's go. Awesome. Expansion is here. Absolutely. So grateful for God. So thankful to be alive. So grateful for the growth, for the expansion in all different areas of our life, mentally, physically, spiritually. Making moves before 9 a.m. Talk about the elite morning. I love to see it. Robin Sharma, the magical morning. So grateful to be a witness along the journey. So grateful for the value that we're soaking in. So grateful for the announcements that's here, that's on the way. We've got Budapest coming in February. We've got it. I don't know if you guys know this, but Mike Navarrete is actually going to be dropping a Zoom call. I'm going to be getting it tonight at 8 p.m., I believe. And he's going to be talking about an exclusive trip over to Colorado, December 7th to the 12th, where you guys can go ahead and experience one of the things that we'll be able to remember for a lifetime. So I'm going to be dropping that in the chat. Super excited about that. You already know. Grateful for our Kangen in the building. Absolutely. Let's get into it. What day is everybody on? Day 424, locked in, keeping the accountability. This is where it all begins on paper before it ever happens physically. Let's go. Sugar in the building. What's happening, sis? All right, here we go. So first thing, the way that I actually heard a piece of this training this morning was so interesting, right? Because before I get into the meat, I want everybody to think about this with me. You ready? We all have societal inheritances, and we also have physical inheritances, right? And when you hear it, you're going to start to see how much these really make sense. Day 108, congratulations. Let's go. Now, here's what I mean by that, right? When we're talking about society, when we're talking about physical inheritances, everybody on this call, including myself, we have what's called a neuroencoding, meaning we have triggers, we have thoughts that allows us to feel certain emotions, and a lot of the times they're very habitual, right? For everybody, they're different, but at the same time, they're also very similar, okay? Negative self-talk, the auto-suggestion, right? If you look at Think and Grow Rich, a lot of these are topics inside of these chapters as well, right? But all of us have auto-suggestion, all of us have self-talk, and most of the time, we end up beating ourselves up. So easy to do, right? We have things that we try. We have things that we plan out, we envision that doesn't work out exactly in our favor. Maybe we go out and a sale doesn't go through, right? Jojo out making moves. Maybe we go out, we put a trade and it doesn't happen. Maybe we put out a couple products and we don't see the result yet, and we start getting this negative self-talk. Man, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to learn this. Why is nothing ever working out in my favor? Well, the fact of the matter is, a lot of it comes down to right here. It's state. Just like, think about it like this. One of the most inspirational individuals that I've ever met is actually individuals that are homeless on the street. Think about it. Who gets told no more times than somebody that's homeless on the street? You know what's interesting? They might go out and ask for money and somebody says, no, I actually don't have any cash on me. All I have is my card. You know what's funny? They have the insane enthusiasm going out and talking to the next person, no matter what happened 10 individuals in the past, right? They have a drive. They have a passion that's inside. Just like I've learned along life, we can learn from anybody. I'll never talk down to a janitor, whether it's a CEO to a janitor. They're all the same to me. We can all learn lessons from everybody. So this taught me something. How many of us have gone through maybe things in business and a couple of things didn't work out? We got frustrated. We got agitated. What if we could take that same enthusiasm, being able to go through each obstacle? That's the difference. That's what separates the elite from the average. Anybody who has an extraordinary business, anybody who has a phenomenal looking trade account, they just blew more. They took more no's. They took a little bit more opposition, but they learned how to look at it in a different way. Perspective is everything, right? Think about how many jobs that you start to realize we don't have to be perfect. I'll give you another one. Think about baseball, okay? Somebody that makes millions of dollars and they bat 300, 350%, meaning they fail 7 out of 10 times and they still get paid millions of dollars. Well, what if every time they missed, they let those next 3 go ahead and strike them out? Now they miss all 10. But if somebody that missed 7 in a row, they know, okay, this next 3, I can go ahead and literally go ahead and change the game. And now my batting average is 300%. But it all comes down to changing the way we see things. So societal norms and physical, there's 2 pieces. The physical inheritances that a lot of us talk about, a lot of us say we have, believe it or not, we can actually change that by changing what we eat, by changing what we put in our body, by changing how it is that we actually are active on a daily basis. We're all wired to go ahead and bring up our old story. We're all wired to go ahead and talk about things that happened in the past until you start to realize this. An old story isn't an old story if we brought it up yesterday, just like Sean told us this morning. So as far as physical, right? What are some of the physical inheritance that we've been telling ourselves that we're not good enough to go ahead and keep growing and keep progressing? Nobody in my family graduated college. Guess what? We can go ahead and be the one. Nobody in my family is a speaker. Nobody in my family is truly bold. These are physical inheritance that we might have told ourselves, but in fact, it's not really true. It's just a cover-up. And here's the quote. Here's the quote that he gave us this morning. Watch this. He said, here's what Sean said. Within limits of abilities lie seeds of tomorrow's masterpieces. It's not abundance, but limitations that test the power of our creativity. And I was like, hold on. Say that again. I gotta let that really resonate. He said, within limits of abilities lie seeds of tomorrow's masterpieces. It's not abundance, but limitations that test our power of creativity. So think about that. It's not abundance that ends up really testing us. It is in our own limitations that we set upon ourselves that ends up creating the ceiling. John C. Maxwell calls it the glass ceiling. We all have a glass ceiling. And every one of us have the ability to go ahead and literally not break. Here's the difference. Break through and break free. You see, when you break through the glass ceiling, all the negativity is able to go ahead and just suck right back through because it's just a hole. But when we break free, now we're able to completely break free of negative self-talk, of addiction to other people's approval, of worrying about what others truly think about where it is that we're going. So this is the physical side, okay? Now let's talk about societal inheritances. He talked about societal inheritances causes more. This is crazy. This is the star of the training. You ready? He says societal inheritances causes more death to dreams than any other thing you can imagine possible. That's why they say doubt kills more dreams than any car crash, than any lightning bolt strike, than any illness or cancer. It's real. Our mind is so powerful, and our mind can be one of our biggest inhibitors, and it can also be one of our biggest distractors. Think about it like this. This is the visual that he broke down of why it is that this happens. He calls it a throwaway society. We pick up a book, right? He says many of us, we pick up a book, we read it, and we say, okay, I read it, I did it, it's done. We get on a call just to say we did it. We do things just to go ahead and put it out there. But in reality, there's a difference between doing something and truly doing it with intention. Getting on a training to really be intentional, getting on a go live to really get the nugget and extract it and go out and put it into action, being able to go out and take what it is that we learn and make the most of it. But so many, he says, talk about the shortcut. They talk about the shallow work. They talk about being able to go ahead and cut away from what's really necessary. Because we're falling back into the physical side that we aren't enough. We aren't capable. It's so easy to say that. Nothing's working out in my favor. You know why? Because we were all born, most of us, around individuals who taught us poverty. Just like myself. I was born and always around poverty. So that's what I grew up learning was poverty. But now we're growing up wanting to learn wealth. So here's the difference. A lot of it's going to be a shift in a lot of the way that we think. Here was the analogy that he gave next, right? This is why I love Jessie Lee. This is why Boss Lee was so authentic, so real, so true. And this is why her light was so bright. Because he talked about a lot of us will rip our identity. We'll rip society apart to maintain our identity. Until you start to realize everybody has a story. Everybody's unique. Even Jessie Lee, if you go back and look at all of her videos, it was kind of like 8 Mile. She exposed all of her weaknesses. So by the time that anybody ever tried to say anything negative about her, she already talked about it. She already exposed that she came from a family that didn't come from money. She already exposed that she went through drugs. She went through alcohol abuse. She went through all of these horrific things in life. But that's what allowed her to become who the individual that she became. And even in the chat, I don't know if you guys saw the video that I dropped, but go back and watch her story. Look at how bold she is. Look at how raw she is. And then go look at most of society. It's so easy to go ahead and put on a mask. It's so easy to go ahead and act like everything is perfect in a superficial world. The power that all of us have is being real, is being authentic. That's why even on my pages, I've documented everything. I've documented me pretty much living out of my car, me sleeping on couches, so people can go back and see the journey. At the beginning, I was like, let me delete it. I don't want anybody to see any of this. But the power lies in people being able to see the growth. You see, people want to see two things. People want to see profits, yes. They want to see money. They want to see income. They want to see things being made happen. But you know what they also truly want to see? They want to see progress. Being able to see the growth. Being able to go ahead and really get excited about being in the body that we're in. Us being able to take the time to get serious about our health. Us being able to get up early, have morning routines, journaling and gratitude. That looks weird to 97% of people. But you start to realize how sexy that really is, how attracting that really is to the right people, to the right leaders, to the right individuals that are looking to grow, that are looking to elevate inside of their lives, because like attracts like. That's why they say we become the average of the 5 individuals that we surround ourselves with, right? Because we adopt their habits, we adopt their thought process, we adopt their routines and rituals. This is why I fell in love with this industry years ago, because it's so much deeper than just money, right? The books that we've been able to come across, the audios, the value on the crypto side, these investments, you don't get this from school, you don't get this from friends, and you definitely don't get this from family. But it took being able to let go of the societal inheritances that were put upon a lot of us. It took being able to let go of the physical inheritances to say, you know what? Even though maybe my family passed at 27, 28 years old, I'm going to be able to live farther. I'm going to be able to go ahead and really leave a lasting legacy, to leave a light, to be an example, to show it's possible, to go out to make a serious impact. So here's the 3 keys. Ready? 3 keys to go ahead and really get back into state. I had to preface that so you can really make it make sense, because you got this training, but you never got it this way. You see, we hear things, but people say, well, just because I've heard it the same, it's the same training. Well, it's not. Every time it's different. How many, if you drop a 3 down below, if you guys have ever read a book, maybe a second time, or if you ever watched the movie and you're like, yo, I didn't see that last time. I picked on something different that I didn't even see when I watched it before. You see, it's never the same. You're in a different energy. You're sitting in a different place. You're sitting in a different position, hearing and watching the information. You see, every day that I go back and read Think and Grow Rich, just because I've read it countless times, I still pick up something new. I still read it with a new energy. I can still look at it with a different perspective. Asking it is given feels like a new book. I'm telling you, it's real stuff. You know, Sean also talks about, he's like, how can you make, when you come back home today, if you go out and you come back home, how can you perceive your life a little bit different than you did earlier? Maybe you might be coming home thinking about all of the problems, thinking about all the negativity, thinking about everything that's going wrong in life. He said, what happens if you could shift this? If you could find something magical, look at something to see that you've never seen before. Maybe that tree, maybe that bush, maybe that bird flying by, right? Look for the energy, shift the energy. And this is the 3 for today. Being able to change our physiology, language, focus, and meaning. Number 1 is physiology. He said so many feel stuck because we're stagnant. So one of the easiest things that any of us can do to go ahead and start this week, getting off this call, maybe getting out in nature, maybe hitting the gym, getting into some yoga, doing some type of movement, right? He talks about motion creates emotion. So being able to change our body, now we can start to go ahead and gain back control, right? By sitting inside and thinking about all of this negativity, it's easy to go ahead and get flustered, right? Mills, what's happening? I see you. Let's go. Deanne in the building. I love it. All right. So number 1 is going to be changing our physiology. This is huge. Number 2, this is going to be changing physiology. Language is number 2. Changing the language that we speak, changing the language that we think. I'll give you an example. He talked about the word guilt, feeling guilty for something. It's easy to feel guilty for so many things in life, right? Maybe saying we were going to do one thing and we never made it happen. We made an excuse. And now we go to bed at night and we have that guilt. We're sitting with it. He talked about guilt is not temporary. Guilt is permanent. He talked about we store guilt. It's one of the most deadliest toxic thoughts that any of us can think. So it just goes to show how important it is to be able to really get intentional about our thoughts, really get intentional about our days, because time floats by so fast. September's going to be going like this. Then it's Halloween. Then we're getting to Thanksgiving. Then it's New Year's. And boom, we're already into 2024, just like that. So this is huge. Okay. Language. I'll never forget it. Some of the mentors that I watched coming in the industry, they were so obsessed. You go inside of their house, every mirror, affirmations. You go and look at their walls, notepads of their vision. You go inside of their bathroom, they got a goal card, first thing they see when they look up. Shane and Talina, we talk about it all the time. They actually made a goal card, put it on the ceiling. So first thing when the eyes wake up, that's the first thing that we see. You know what that does? That starts to change the language that we use on a daily basis. That starts to rewire the subconscious mind, right? I started falling asleep to audios years ago. There's 2 things that I fall asleep to every night religiously. You see me travel, you've ever been with me, you'll notice I always fall asleep to something because I know how powerful language is. I know how powerful the internal thoughts are, right? Things like Earl Nightingale, right? The Strangest Secret, Neville Goddard, binary beats, frequency, right? There's all of these different ways we can start training the subconscious mind to start working for us and stop working against us. You guys know every night, one of the most powerful things we can do is be intentional with our thoughts. Because if we go to sleep thinking about negativity, if the language is negative going to sleep, you know what happens? We fester that in our subconscious mind. We dream about it. And a lot of times we manifest more negativity inside of our life. How many of you guys can think about times where this has happened, times where you can really feel like, wow, this actually really makes sense? Let me drop some 4s down below, because this was a wake-up call for me. Huge one. Huge. So I made it a point to every night, I got to listen to something that's going to allow me to grow, some type of audio, something that's peaceful, something to allow myself to clear my mind. And then every day, this is why I wake up and 420, whatever it is, days strong. Because as soon as we wake up to not go back to the old self, to not go back to the old story, I want to create the new. This is why I learned why journaling is so powerful, because this is literally what we're doing. We're cutting off the old story. We're stop replaying the past, and we're going to start pre-playing the future. What is that feeling like every day where we start pre-playing the future, pre-playing the life that we desire to live, and assuming the feeling as if it's already happened? Why do you think I play that visualization every day? I don't miss. Every single day. I drop the same visualization. Been doing that for years. You know why? Bob Proctor did something similar. Alex Morton, something similar. Matt Rosa, something similar. When they go on their run, success leaves clues. So I like to follow success. So there's a reason why we do a lot of the things that we do. Okay. And the last piece, we have focus, we have language. You can see it. Yep. You can see it in your mind. Absolutely. Focus, language, and meaning. Meaning. What is the meaning for our life? What is the meaning about the words that we write down? You see, when I start to look at words in a different light, I start to see them completely differently. I'll give you a perfect example, right? When you start to look at words, revelation, right? I was going across a really tough time in my life. I was on the road and I was traveling. It just seemed like so many things were happening one time. And I went in a bookstore and I was looking for a journal because I needed a new journal. And I actually happened to come across this little Bible. It was this only Bible for men, and it changed my life. Literally, it was just one of those times that completely changed everything for me. And I remember looking inside of the book, and under a lot of the scriptures, talked about revelation. And I said, let me go ahead and let me look that up. let me see what revelation really stands for. So when you actually go and you look at it, here's what revelation, the definition is. It talks about the act of revealing, the act of communicating divine truth. The act of making something known that was a secret. Revelation. Drop a 3 down below if you guys have ever had some revelations in the past couple weeks, in the past couple months. You see, when I started learning about what it is that we drink, what it is that we eat, the information that we hear on a daily basis, most of the things that we've been taught for a lot of our life is a lie. Is a lie. Kids that are still waking up and eating Kellogg's cereal, not knowing the Rothschilds created that brand years ago. It's being manufactured to go ahead and create sicknesses, create more illnesses and disease. But for those that are not woke, they don't know. You know when you guys watch a sunset, the sun is literally decalcifying your pineal gland to allow you to actually increase your sight and have better vision. Years ago, they did sun gazing. It's one of the most spiritual times every single day. Sunrise, sunset, right? Almost every toothpaste has fluoride. We were taught to go to the dentist to eat fluoride. Fluoride is one of the most toxic chemicals that exists, and we put it in our body every day. Isn't that crazy? I'll give you another one, toilet paper. If you buy cheap toilet paper, there's chemicals that end up creating possible cancer-causing diseases. Brands that have been around for years. So when I started getting these revelations of divine truths, nothing was ever the same. Everything was different. Started changing the way I eat, started changing the way I think, started changing the way I act, my habits, who I listen to, who I got around. And everything started to change because of the meaning of literally one word, of revelation. That's when it began. And I got obsessed with looking at different words. Discipline, dedication, believe, right? When you look at the word believe, look at the middle of the word. It says lie. Some of these words were not just created to be created. Some of them were created very intentionally. Some of them were created from Greek words. If you go back and study them, the origin is absolutely unreal. When we change the meaning of everything in our life, why do we exist? Why are we waking up every day? Why are we breathing right now? What does life look like when I step into my purpose? What does life look like when we really go ahead and see what's possible and max out all these different pillars of our life? That's why I'm so disciplined with what I eat and clean my body with. You're right. Revelation. So dreamers, this is the 3 keys to really go ahead and get locked in and really get back in state right here. By being able to change the physiology, getting up, moving, going to the gym, exercising, changing the focus, changing the language and meaning. So dreamers, if you got any value from today, go ahead and drop some 3s down below. Smash that like button. And I tell you right now, this is going to be a phenomenal week. We've got so many amazing trainings. The layout, the schedule is already down there in the chat. We've got everything already lined up. I'm going to drop the whole schedule for today. Every day is going to be dropped early so we know exactly what's going on. Fired up, excited, ready to go ahead and dominate the rest of this month and finish the rest of this year with an absolute bang. Dreamers, I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm so excited to see what's here and what's on the way. Remember, we can be, do, and have anything we can hold in our mind. We can hold it right here in our hands. Have an amazing day. Fresh start to the week. Let's turn these dreams into reality. It's game time. Let's go.